Hey guys, and welcome back to the Geek Street podcast where the street speaks once again. My name is Jazz, and I have my buddies over here, Sean, Eric, and Harvin. Say hi, guys.
What's up,
Hello.
guys? What's up?
Hello.
So, before we go on with our content, we just want to apologize if there is bad audio quality or bad camera quality because we are facing a technical difficulty. I don't know why. This has been a very unfortunate week. So, but somehow, because we want to release this content to you guys, so we just did whatever we can to bring this content to you. So, hope you guys uh, enjoy our video despite the technical difficulties that we are facing. And,
So it shows that we love you guys. We love you guys. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much.
Oh, we love you. We love you. So basically, we are here to talk about what if episode 4, which is what if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hand. So this has been a really, really interesting episode. I know I've been saying interesting episode for every episode I came, but the way that they do it is every episode is much more interesting than the other one. This was like, wow.
It's one of the best so far. Hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far. Gotta wait for the others.
Exactly. So I think this episode set the bar really high. So we are hoping that it gets better from there onwards. So we are going to be breaking down on this episode. I think that there's a lot of theories compared to the previous ones. With also Easter eggs. I think I have a lot of Easter eggs with pop culture references. But yes, spoiler alert, whoever who haven't watched episode 4, please make sure to watch this episode before you watch our video, because we're going to be doing a full breakdown on this. And also, just to remind you guys, no matter what, please like and subscribe our video so that you can get more future content as we cover many more of the What If episodes, and also whatever Marvel or any other contents that we are going to release. So like, subscribe, and leave your comments below and let us know what you think of the content that you're about to hear. Okay, so if there's nothing else, let us jump into What If episode 4 breakdown. So as usual, we began with the mandatory Marvel logo, the animation logo, and then I think this is the first time we see much more fuller silhouette of the Watcher when he's introducing Doctor Strange. Like before this, you can see it starts with like light silhouette, and then every episode he gets more obvious. So in this one, he mentions that that there were good choices made that led to these universes and all. But what if there is a wrong choice? What if the best intention has a very strange consequence? So when you mention a strange consequence, we know something is going to happen, not the way that is intended to. Okay, so we see Doctor Strange, Stephen Strange, with stocks and everything in his car, waiting for Kristine Palmer to come. So he's going to bring her on a date. So later on, it's stated that they're going for a speech to celebrate something that he did. So, Kristine walks to the car and she says, you promised me creme brulee, so I'm going to go for dessert and blah, blah, blah. And she mentions that he did. It's not that she mentioned, but then it was something like a similar scene in the movie where he says that there's a neurological committee where he needs to go and give a speech to, and he calls her, will you come with me? And she says no. So in this situation, it looks like she actually said yes, and she's going with him. So they drive along the hill. Of course, in the movie, he drives alone, but this one, he drives with Kristine, and they're talking about his speech, and she mentions that he did a radical hemispherectomy successfully. So basically, hemispherectomy, I cannot pronounce the word, but yeah. Basically, what surgeons do is they remove half of the brain. For people who have seizures and they cannot be medicated, they actually remove half of the brain, and it heals them. So he's going for that because he successfully did it. And of course, he tries to cut a truck. A truck was in front of him. He tries to speed, and then a car comes. But this time, he managed to avoid the car. He pressed brake, and he goes back into lane. But another car rams him from behind. So when the car rams, they go into an accident. And this accident scene is an exact shot by shot from the movie. The part where he hits the pole, the car flips and turns, and then goes by the dock and goes into the water. So in this sense, this is where the title of the series comes. What if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? So his hands weren't injured, but Kristine died. So he's depressed and everything. And of course, they did a funeral for her. And then he went looking for Kamataj for a way to bring Kristine back alive. And he learns the mystic arts. And he becomes Doctor Strange. So we jump to the scene where Strange is studying about the stone, the time stone, which is the Eye of Agamotto. So he mentions that it's a temporal singularity. So singularity, we know he's talking about the stone. And he mentions that the Eye of Agamotto was discovered by the sorcerer Cagliostro, which is to tamper with timelines and alter timelines.
Immediately mentioned Cagliostro, Jess. In the comics, Cagliostro was able to use the dark hole from the comics to achieve immortality. But then now we know who has the dark hole inside the MCU verse. Wanda has the dark hole now. So that's a good thing. So in the comics, Cagliostro used it to achieve immortality, which means dark hole possesses such magic beyond imagination, which now Wanda possesses. So now we will see how much this plays out during the multiverse of madness inside Doctor Strange.
Yep. So as you guys know, the dark hole it plays a very big role. We are yet to see of what uses it can bring.
Yeah. And another thing I want to add also, I should have cut you earlier, but this time around, Strange is a lot stronger, actually. When he goes to Kamatash to even seek answers, this time around, his hands is not injured. His hands are perfectly fine. So he's able to do all kinds of magic and arts with his pure hands alone. So he's much, much more stronger than the one we know. Much, much more skillful, and I'm sure he's going to learn a lot faster. Just imagine with your hand injured like that, you can learn so much. Just imagine now he's like perfectly fine. He can be so much strong.
And especially his motivation, his goal is different now. It's not for himself, but it's for the love of his life. So it's a stronger motivation to learn the mystic arts.
Yeah, it's going to be like a whole different... It's a different Strange than the one we know.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Strange. I like how they insert, Strange, this one, Strange Consequences, just to play with his name over there. So, while he's playing around with the time stone, we see, of course, that Apple scene, same like the movie. And then the Ancient One and Wong comes in to the study room, and, they tell him that it's a dangerous thing to actually tamper with the timeline. So one thing that is different, initially in the movie when he was doing that, Mordo comes in. Okay, Mordo comes in, but then in this one he's not there. So I don't know why. Maybe they couldn't get the actor Chiwetel Ejiofor to come and act out as Mordo. But
because this particular episode, I think it is the only episode, if I'm not mistaken, that they actually been voiced by the original characters in the live action movies.
Like what Sean said. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, completely right. Yeah. Okay, so right after that we see a few shots of the part where the Ancient One dies, because of the battle with Caecilius, and of course Doctor Strange confronting Dormammu and making a bargain. And after all that ended, this is fast forward 2 years after Kristine's death, and after he became the Sorcerer Supreme. So, he's sad and sulking. He says it's been 2 years since Kristine died. So Wong invites him, I believe to go for tea, because he say he's going to get the water ready and everything. And he told Strange, not to dwell into the past and to move on. But Strange decided that, he wants to tamper with the timeline. So he goes back in time. He uses the time stone to go back to that ill-faithful night where Kristine died. So, of course, no matter what he tried, he always ends up dying. So, this reminded me of the movie The Time Machine. I think it was the 2003 or 2008 movie, where he'll always go back in time to save his girlfriend, but then she'll always end up dying. So, it's inevitable, that thing.
And actually, just as the montage plays out, where you cannot stop Kristine's death, but one particular scene where Doctor Strange literally like, okay, I'm not going to go and fetch her this time. I'm just going to let it happen out, play out. When he goes to the bar to have a drink, the moment when you see there's a news playing, it's actually the news from the Marvel Universe itself, the WHIH news. Okay, and you see the newscaster who's voicing it is actually played by Leslie Bibbs. If you all remember, Kristine Everhart from she played in Iron Man 2 as one of the reporters in Iron Man 2. So she's yeah, correct. That one scene, and they brought back the same actress to voice that particular scene. Maybe it even played like about 5 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. So you see how Marvel just wants to give the originality to give to the audience, But it's a very cool Easter egg right there.
Yeah, spared no expense lah. They get all the characters. Also, another thing I forgot to point out, when he went back in time, and when Kristine sat in the car, when he closes the car door, there's a very short glimpse of the watcher's reflection on the window. So this shows that he's actually closely watching what's going on compared to the other episodes where he's always far away and everything. So yeah, like Harvey mentioned, so Kristine, died in a fire and reported in the news and everything. So he goes back to that accident place where he tries to save her, but then she dies and he's sad. And we see the Ancient One comes through a portal. So the portal is a bit different. It's not the usual yellow circle. It's like a blue portal. She comes through the portal. So of course, this is the Ancient One that is alive during that time, the time where they met the accident. Okay, so she comes and she says that Kristine's death is an absolute point in time. So an absolute point is unchangeable and unavoidable. It has to go. So Strange is insistent that he wants to change the timeline, and she says that it cannot happen because without Kristine's death, Strange wouldn't have become who he is. So this had to happen for it to occur like that. She even mentioned that even the greatest sorcerers cannot change an absolute point in time. But he somehow still decides to go against the Ancient One. So she says that, if he decides to take this path, she has to stop him, and she tries to attack him. Not to kill him, but just to try to stop him. But he immediately uses the time stone to disappear to another point in time. So at this point, we see he landed in some kind of like jungle area. So it's safe to say that he traveled back to the past, like way long in the past, and he meets someone with blue and red eyes. So this person doesn't say anything. He looks like a farmer with a hat. Reminds me of Raiden from Mortal Kombat. So he asked this person, where is the lost library of Cagliostro? Because he was telling the Ancient One there are a lot of books that are lost. So he wants to go to this temple, to this library to find out all these books. So this person doesn't say anything, and he just walks, and Strange follows behind, and they come across a valley with a huge temple-looking thing with the Sphinx and Gryffindor engraving all over. And he notices there's no door, so it's only accessible by a sorcerer. So he uses the ring, and he goes up to the entrance. And once he enters, we can see the place is protected by magic. So we can see runes. So these are the kind of runes that were used, I think, by Wanda as well. I'm not sure if it's Nordic runes, but it didn't look very Nordic, but more Sanskrit or something like. So immediately he falls. I think it's like a booby trap or something. So he falls down, and then this same person with the red and blue eyes comes and greets Doctor Strange. So Strange asks this person, he's looking for Cagliostro, and then
No,
this person
just want to say that. Sorry to cut you off there, but that sort of like a when he falls down, right? Because normally we know that even in our own world, that normally if you're dealing with all dark magic, it has to be somewhere underground and like hidden away, sort of a thing. So I think that the temple thing is just an illusion to what is the darkness that is being held within that particular place. Because from the outside, it looks like something like sort of like a Greek area, or something like that, that personifies dominance and things like that. But then the actual thing is the darkness within. I think that is what they're trying to show within that scene, lah.
It is a library, lah. Let's not forget.
Yeah, it is a library, but it's underground, lah. I mean, it's a dark. I mean, like it's hidden, like restricted, like restricted section.
Yeah, but even the insides look nice actually when they reveal the scene that he walks in the library and see all the books hanging. Even that scene itself was like very nicely done, like very majestically done.
Yeah, I guess it's very subjective. Like that library gives you all sorts of knowledge. So it depends on you want to use it for darkness or for greatness.
Yeah,
I really hope they in the MCU they bring this library back because it looks super cool. In animation it looks super cool. I really hope they bring it back to a live action in not Doctor Strange the second or maybe the third one, or maybe in some other magic movies which MCU is trying to make. But the library, the concept itself, it looks super cool.
Yeah. More like the library from the Avatar Last Bender. I don't know. I got a lot of like other pop culture reference because I see a lot of those in that. So before he enters the library, or he was talking to this guy, right? And this guy he says that Cagliostro is not here, he's not there, and he can be anywhere. Then Strange asks him, please don't tell me you're Cagliostro. And he says, no, I'm just the carer for the library, for the books of Cagliostro. And he introduces himself as Obeng. Okay, now here's the thing. Obeng, if you look up for the sorcerer Cagliostro, this is not a confirmed thing because it is said that the sorcerer Cagliostro was originally named Obeng, but this is not a confirmed thing. Because in the comics, you see Cagliostro, he actually changes persona and his appearance, and he goes by different name. But he's very well related to the name Obeng. So now the question is, well, did MCU follow that? Is Obeng really Cagliostro, or is Obeng just an Obeng and Cagliostro is just Cagliostro?
It could just be an Easter egg, lah. You know how Marvel likes to poke us. So it could just be an Easter egg. Just put some Marvel comic character and name there, and just leave it for us to mind bend our own brains.
Yeah, I guess
that's how it is, lah. But the one thing interesting was, I don't know whether you all noticed, but his eyes, one was blue and one was red. Did you all notice?
Yeah, that was the first time I was saying it just now.
Yeah, is it? Yeah, maybe I left the realm or something. Right? But there's a saying, there's like a rumor saying that his eyes are red and blue is because he's aware that the reality is split. Because this one is like the bad Strange, right? So he's aware also that the internal reality is already split. So that's why he has a blue and red. Right? Yeah. That's the theory going on. So I don't know.
Yeah, most people are saying that it's probably that you can see two realities.
And he knows about it, lah. That's the big part. Like he knows about it. I think eventually, yes, he does know because he's the one who told. Yeah, we'll get that later, lah. Yeah,
we'll get that. So, of course, there's a Doctor Strange name joke over there where he says his hood is Armani, and then Obeng calls him Sorcerer Armani. Then he said, no, it's Strange. Then he said, no stranger to any name in the world. So, Stephen Strange has a real problem, like me, like Josephine. I always have problem telling people my name, so I can really relate to Doctor Strange.
But your name is not as strange as his.
Yeah, his name is strange. It's strange that is strange.
Pun intended.
Unless they call it Josephine, yes lah. So like
Aye. Anyways, so he goes into the library and of course he looks for the book for time manipulation. And this is the same book that I believe he read in Kamata itself, because when he flips the page, that is the time manipulation book with that Dormammu sign, the dark realm sign, if I'm not mistaken. The dark dimension sign over there. So, he reads the book and everything, and then he tries to summon, because when he reads in the book, he says that he needs to absorb other beings to gain power. So the first being he tries to absorb is, of course, the tentacle creature from episode 1 of What If. So in our episode 1 breakdown, we did mention that this may be the interdimensional being called the Old Ones or the Mangled Ones. And we also related that it might be related to Shuma Gorath, because Shuma Gorath is Doctor Strange's enemy, and is also mentioned to appear in Doctor Strange 2. So this may be a reference to Shuma Gorath. Maybe, he tried to cut his tentacles, so the beast is pissed off, so he's gonna hunt him back down in Doctor Strange 2.
I know. I was hoping because we've seen the trailer where Captain Carter actually meets up with Doctor Strange.
I thought we want to wait until the end to mention that.
No.
But
I was hoping that Captain Carter can just jump out of the thing and or something like that. I thought that was the portal that was in episode 1.
No, honestly, I didn't think it would be that soon, because from that shot in the trailer or whatever you want to call it, we can already see he's already dark and sad, and he had the cape already. Whereas when he met the tentacle the first time, I called it tentacle. When he met the tentacles the first time, he didn't have any cape yet. He wasn't ready. He was determined. That was the face that he gave. He wasn't sad lah. He was determined to get the job done. But more on that later. I just want to wait until the end, then we pull off our crazy batshit crazy theories.
We'll cover that part lah. So obviously, he tries to take on the tentacle monster, and he feels. Then Obeng treats him and he says, these mystic beings, they don't bargain. So I guess it's kind of contradicting, because Dormammu actually bargained, but I guess he's a whole other being, I guess. So, and he said, and Doctor Strange tries to start with smaller creatures. So the first thing that appears is an angry gnome, and he absorbs that gnome. And then
this angry gnome is a kind of small Easter egg, because this angry gnome in the comics actually resides from Asgard, or also known from what they call another pocket dimension, which is called the Other World. This Other World is another world where all these crazy creatures come from, which MCU has not delved into the movies yet. But in the comics, so much, so many crazy things comes from this another pocket dimension called the Other World. So this was one of the first reference they made, this angry small gnome. It was so cute, but it was a cool reference to this comic book.
Actually, each monster that was showcased, all of it actually had a reference to it lah. It's a matter of how confirmed is it, because I think they could just be throwing us off and just putting stuff because they can. Why not, right?
No, I think that is a cool way to just add in characters that maybe will not play a part in this MCU, or in the future where maybe it is too much of a storyline to get into. So just
it's flavor lah for us to eat on. Because I think if it was just normal beast, we would be like, oh yeah, okay. But if they give us something so cute and small yet angry and monstery, and then they give us so much of animation of different beasts going into Strange, it makes it interesting lah. The flavor is there.
And these creatures, right? They're not necessarily related to the Marvel Comics universe or anything, but most of them are from actual legends, from different cultures. Like for example, that two-headed ram that appeared, right, with those big horns. That is actually like sort of like a deity in Egyptian mythology. It's called Amun-Ra, which is a two-headed ram, which is quite famous over there. So, aside from that, there were a lot. Even saw the six-eyed raven that looked damn cool. And that reminded me of Raven from Teen Titans because, her father will have like that six eyes thing. Yeah. So, all those kind of references. And of course, the bug was having the cloud of levitation. So, probably like the bug is a sorcerer supreme in a different timeline. And he
Could be another strange deviant. Who knows?
Yeah, probably another strange.
like the alligator Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
even the before I get to the bigger part, even the one with the skull, the one with the horns and skull, he's actually a Netherlord from a game, and he's from the Obsidian world, like something like what Harin was saying. So they kind of like implemented like different kinds of worlds and gods or demons or monsters or whatever you want to call it. And then I don't know if you all noticed, but there was a hint of Mephisto in it.
Yes.
Okay, you guys can talk about that.
Sean probably got excited about it again, like Mephisto again.
It's everywhere now. It's literally everywhere now. What are your thoughts, Sean? Well, how do you feel, Sean?
I mean, explain the scene lah. Like so people know what we're talking about.
I mean, how to explain the scene, right?
That
he just kind of like goes into a.
When he absorbs the dragon, and then immediately he has this devilish look with those yellow eyes, red face with the horns.
Initially, when I saw a dragon, I thought it was Smaug from Lord of the Rings. And then I think back, it could be like the dragon from Shang-Chi.
Oh, it could be the Surtur's white dragon from Thor Ragnarok. I thought of that also.
There are like so many possibilities, but the fact that he changed in, like, why would people associate a dragon with a demon or a devil? Okay, say devil lah. Like why?
For me, I thought that the more he absorbed, the more evil the intention becomes, or even more darker the magic becomes, right? So I don't necessarily think it's related to the dragon itself. What I'm thinking is the more he absorbs, then the more, it hardens his heart even more to get determined that, he wants what he wants. Because when we say that people, we say evil villains or people who are villains in the movies, they are driven by what they want. Right? I mean, what they want to achieve. Because sometimes, from their perspective, we could see it like, they because of love, because of this, because of that. But from our perspective, from the good perspective, we see that's a kind of an evil thing, right? So I think that is just like just to show that it's making him more and more evil, more and more dark. When the magic is becoming very dark already. So I think that is what we shall not go into Mephisto. We have had our hearts broken. Continue to have our hearts broken, and then the tea samo in No Way Home. So we shall save it for later lah. If it ever happens.
Yeah. We'll save that for later. Yeah. So while he's absorbing all of these creatures, the Watcher gives like a commentary. He says that he thinks of intervening, but then he cannot risk the fate of the others for his fate. So he just has to. He don't even think that Strange will listen to him, even if he intervenes. So while he's saying that, this is the exciting part. Strange actually acknowledged the Watcher's voice. So he turns around and he asks, "Who is that?" So at that time, I felt like the Watcher will probably be like, "Oh shit, you heard me."
Yeah.
But
there's a I don't know, there's a theory lah, like he actually could listen from the very beginning itself. When the Watcher first appeared at the mirror, you can see his reaction kind of like change, Stranger's reaction. So he kind of like knew that the Watcher was watching. I don't know. It's a theory lah. It's a theory lah. It could be coincidence, just could be
Yeah.
coincidence.
I mean, the theory was people say that when he saw the watcher, he blinked, but like, I don't know. Don't humans blink?
Yeah, it could be a coincidence lah. It could be a coincidence.
So we will get to the theories at the end, guys. Relax.
Okay.
Hold
Yeah,
it.
but I think after he absorbed all that extra beings, he kind of like leveled up and got stronger and stronger.
He's got
And
too powerful. He can hear other world beings,
Yeah.
So it has
That
to
was
be
the other theory over there.
Yep.
So, and they show that he was actually absorbing for what seemed like countless days.
I
and
did not
years.
expect that, to be honest. I
Yeah.
did not expect that.
Yeah.
Like we thought it's probably probably for 2-3 days or something, but it went on for centuries, because we can see how the moss and the trees and everything shifted and the stones grew. And when he was finally done, he came to see Obeng, and Obeng is old. So of course Obeng is a form of a sorcerer also. So he probably lived through centuries and he finally grew old. But strange, he made himself immortal, trapped himself in time to do what he was doing lah. So of course he tries to save Obeng using the time stone. Then Obeng says no, I'm ready to die and everything. Then he says that the love can destroy your mind. So it actually shows, because of love, in the name of love, he did all this, and he's already going cuckoo. Right? I forgot to say, before he went to see Obeng, he actually encountered the tentacle monster, the old one.
Yeah.
He is like, I'll finally meet again. And then, he quickly attacks and he absorbs the tentacles into his body. So that's when he became very strong. And then he met Obeng. So, and also Obeng mentioned that there is another strange. You are split and there is another Strange, and you are not the only Doctor Strange in the universe. So this immediately jumps to the scene of our ordinary Doctor Strange, back to the scene where he's sitting and talking to Wong, and in the Sanctum Sanctorium saying that Kristine died 2 years ago and everything. So, but this time when Wong asked him to leave the past behind, he did. He decided to move on, and he went out. When he went out, he sees that the reality itself is being destroyed. So we see like this kind of goo thing being absorbed and everything. And then we see the Ancient One appears again. So this time we know she's not alive, but it's more like a spirit or something, because her voice was very echoey and very distant and mystical. So
technically she saved a backup of herself in the timeline.
Yeah, backup driver.
She did a good backup lah.
Yeah.
It is probably like a hologram Tony Stark, but in a more physical and real way lah.
Yeah, you know what's my theory? It reminded me of Force Ghost.
I know you were gonna go there.
Same thing. Yeah, it was more like a Force Ghost from Star
No,
Wars.
but we don't know who copied who, right? For all you know, they copied us. They copied Marvel.
Who copied Marvel?
We don't know which is real, which is the Force Ghost and which is original.
Of course, Star Wars is original.
Star Wars like 1970s.
It came out like years back.
I'm just messing you all lah.
Yeah, so she actually explains, she's a psychic impression sent through a splinter in reality. I guess I understand only half of it. Basically, the echo left behind in reality or something like that. Let's not go into that. it's so technical. So she explains that there's another Strange to this Doctor Strange. She says that there is another Strange because on that night when she attacked Stephen Strange at the accident area, she couldn't chase Strange to the time that he disappeared to. So before he ran away, she split him in two. So this is where it gets interesting. She actually did something that was not expected or referenced at all. She split Strange, not only his body, but two different timelines of Strange in that same universe.
Yeah.
So
I think she was able to do that because she has been taking powers from the dark
Correct.
side.
Yeah.
So she is actually very strong. And I think she's already capable of all that from the very beginning itself. I think even from the live action movie of Doctor Strange, we can see her explaining about universes and timeline to Strange itself. And then she did it with Hulk also after that. So I think she knows what she's doing, and she definitely knows the consequences and what happens
even
if she doesn't.
mentioned it. She mentioned the absolute point once again. She had mentioned it. So she knows that this can't be changed, and the fact that she cannot make what he wants to be, goes to the dark side of it. So she just have no choice but to make into two and let things play out and how it has to play out, and end of the day maybe encounter the good Doctor Strange, encounter the dark Doctor Strange, and see how it play out. But then we all know what happens later on, so we'll get to that later on. But,
what she did also is actually a risk, lah. Like she don't know it's going to be good and bad. It could be good.
She made it like a 50-50 kind of thing.
Yeah.
So explaining that multiverse, if you guys haven't checked out our multiverse video, I will put a cut up there somewhere, so go and check out what do you call the
5-second advertisement right there.
Yeah. You can check out a video on the multiverse. So because we know, as what we agreed earlier, is that different universe, right? So within the same universe, we can have different branch timelines, right? So I think it is a good continuity with Marvel, because as we go back to Avengers Endgame, how Ancient One explained to Bruce Banner in terms of you remove one stone, and then but it's within the same universe itself, right? So the continuity there is good because it keeps up with what Marvel has been trying to explain. Because I know with Cap going back, and then is it like a branch timeline, or is it like within the same timeline? Is it a different universe? Things like that. There's so many things. Like the writers say one thing, the Russo brothers say one thing. So, but what Ancient One says, I think they followed that particular path in terms of explaining how they split the timelines and to explain what is a timeline, and I think what is a multiverse. I gave you like a 3-minute lecture.
And we need like a minute to absorb all that.
Yeah. Even I'm trying to absorb the thing, especially when it plays like in the same universe and two timeline running, like that's crazy. I still don't know how does that.
I think we'll understand it even more when we go into No Way Home and then into Multiverse of Madness. I think that is where we will fully understand, because I think moving forward from there, whatever other movies or any like team up sort of like a movie, like a new Avenger or something like that, definitely will have this multiverse as its main plot.
I think what if we break it down more, lah. I think we still got another like 5 more episodes, and I think for now I already know one, which is the zombies one, which we are yet to see. And then we know for a fact that Carter meets Supreme Strange. So yeah, so that's 2. Plus the other 3 more we don't know yet. Kinda. Yeah.
If I ever open a pizza restaurant, I'm gonna name my pizza Strange Supreme. Okay, so anyways, of course, the Ancient One says that the temporal paradox of reversing an absolute point will destroy the universe. So we know how dangerous what the Strange Supreme is tampering with. So she and this is the awkward part again. She says, "You are the only sorcerer strong enough to stop Doctor Strange. It's you, Strange." And then she disappears. So name play, I guess, over there. And then we go back to the Sanctum Sanctorium. We see Wong, who is literally like half disappearing, but he's so chill about it. He's like, you're trying to defeat yourself, and it's done by you and things like that. And they are trying to make these protection spells for Doctor Strange in order for him to confront Strange Supreme. Then Wong gives him the Guardian Vishanti spell, which is the big one on his forehead. So Vishanti, I think most people don't know this, but this actually plays a very, very big role because the symbol on the sanctum sanctorium itself is actually the symbol, the seal of Vishanti. This is the seal that protects the sanctum sanctorium. And the Vishanti consists of three beings. They can be considered like gods or higher beings, and one of them is actually Agamotto. So Agamotto was part of the Vishanti, and then the Sorcerer Supremes all came after that. I don't know. I see Harvin so excited. Harvin, you want to add anything or did I
No,
cover?
what I want to say, you were saying, actually, it's very true. Yeah. So basically, in comics, it's the same thing. Like the Guardians of Vishanti was the one where Doctor Strange gets his spells and powers all from the comics. But in MCU, it's made it more simpler because they already explained more. Like he draws this kind of spells and his powers from other dimension, like how the ancient one draws powers from the dark dimension and everything. So it was a very, very cool Easter egg. And the moment when he said Agamotto, I mean, somehow or other, like how Jess says, we would like to see like what Avengers 10,000 BC, is it, Jess, if I'm not mistaken? Hopefully one day we get to see that, because it's kind of cool. Like we get to see an ancient Avengers movie play out, but it was a very cool Easter egg. That is like a spell which it goes through inside the Marvel comics, which Doctor Strange uses usually.
I think it was Avengers 1 million BC.
1 million BC. Okay.
Okay, so immediately Strange Supreme sort of like kidnaps Doctor Strange and brings him into like a very dark realm. I'm not sure where is it, but I think it's the same timeline as Supreme Strange, because when Stephen Strange asks where is he says, when are you? Not where are you? Yeah. So, and of course Supreme Strange tells Stephen Strange, it's so hard to say the word. I just say evil Strange and good Strange lah.
It's just Strange Supreme.
Yeah, it's Doctor Strange versus Strange Supreme.
Yeah, correct.
This is Supreme. Okay, Strange, Supreme, and Doctor Strange. So he explained saying that, he wants to save Kristine and he needs Doctor Strange's help also. So he mentioned that he can't save her alone and he needs Doctor Strange to join him to become whole again, because now they're split into two. So he wants him to join together and to become whole and powerful. So they go back to that accident site where the same night where they crashed, and of course Doctor Strange denies, and they go into this epic fight. The fight scene is really, really damn cool.
Yeah.
I think it was way cooler than any other fight scenes we saw in the other What Ifs. And we see Doctor Strange using his lasso of truth kind of thing, like how he used on Thanos. Yeah. And then Strange Supreme use some kind of ground worms to attack, and even their cloak of levitation also start fighting each other. So it was sort of epic. But then what was said was Doctor Strange's cloak tries to subdue Strange Supreme, and he burns the thing, and there was a crying sound,
yeah.
So it was like damn sad. And so while they're fighting, Strange Supreme does like a diversion. He turns into like an orb of light or something, and I think from this part onwards, it was starting to look like more like a horror movie. When he appears as a shadow, and he didn't just creep. He just he just grabbed Strange into some kind of hellish looking dimension. It looked really creepy. I like the way that they did it. I don't think it's really children friendly kind of scene. And I guess Strange Supreme tapped into Doctor Strange's memory, and then we see Kristine Palmer. Sorry, anyone want to say anything about that hellish scene or anything?
No, I was mind blown. I was like, okay, it was super cool, but I was just like, okay, Marvel and Disney actually catering this to the children right now. Is everything going good? Because initially, I think because they in the Multiverse of Madness, initially when the first director supposed to direct it, Scott Derrickson said that it was going to be more like a horror movie itself. It's going to be the first Marvel horror movie. So I think this is like a starter for us. Like this is how it's going to be for the multiverse. I mean, now it's a very animation, right? So I think hopefully in multiverse it's going to be like even more super horror. But we all know now the director now is by Sam Raimi, the Mr. Spider-Man himself. So let's see how that plays out.
No, for me, I feel this is one of it is a prelude to the darkness of what Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness will be, because moving forward, because I think when you deal with magic, you have to show the good side and the bad side. I said bad side, right. So, but for me, as I was watching it, my feeling was that if I was like 11 or 12-year-old kid, I think this would be like a more mature animation rather than a kid movie or a kid cartoon or something like that. So I think Marvel is still trying to hold on to the mature audiences that are watching, like not those that watch the MCU movies and all that. They also want to cater for them. So this particular episode really caters for that sort of a mature audience, lah.
Yeah. So moving on, we see Doctor Strange realizing that the Kristine that was talking to him is not real. It's just a facade being done by Strange Supreme. So and then when Strange Supreme punches Doctor Strange, it's like a glass shatter. So I guess they were in another dimension, maybe the mirror dimension or something like that. Because when the glass shattered, it didn't look like just a representation. Because when they are falling, we can see the glass shards also falling. So they were physically in another place while they're falling down.
I mean, we can say so many things about that. Like he could have created his own helix, like how Wanda did, and then stuff like that. So we don't know lah. It could be anything. We really don't know. Can't really say much. So
yeah, don't know. So while they're falling down, of course, Strange Supreme punches Doctor Strange in the face so many times, and every time he punched, the spells goes out. Okay, I wanted to give another reference, but I'm trying to hold. When Sonic falls, all the rings comes out in the game. Okay, yeah, it's something like that. So they're punching and everything, and they fall. When they fall, so Doctor Strange, of course, is very weak, and Strange Supreme, of course, being Supreme, he overcame Doctor Strange and he absorbed him into his body. So they finally became one being, and he explodes. There was like this huge explosion, and then we see he became a sort of mix of all the creatures that he absorbed. So that was like really freaky looking. Wait, before you get there, the minute they merged into one, his powers and the eye of Agamotto actually went red. Oh yeah.
Everything went red, and then one thing we see that is red now currently is Scarlet Witch, and her magic is chaos magic. So we can also say that this is actually one of the second chaos magic that we're actually seeing now.
Yeah.
So could be.
Yeah.
I mean, and there were theories also saying that because the reality stone is red and it changes reality, right? Mm-hmm. So when this one turned red, it's beyond time. Now it changes reality itself. So I believe that the chaos magic is the same because Wanda can play with reality. So it's that sort of power, like chaos magic, like Eric mentioned.
Yeah, it's most likely that lah. I don't think there's any other reason for Marvel to not show us the eye turning red and him turning red, all kind of stuff. They could use any other color if they want to, even. But the fact that they show us red as reality, even in Scarlet Witch, it's something that uses.
So it's getting exciting because we know how Doctor Strange and Wanda are going to be in the movie itself. So probably Doctor Strange will have this chaos magic powers as well, in the movie. I'm excited to actually see that. So of course, when Strange Supreme becomes this hideous creature, he tries to revive Kristine Palmer. So, she becomes blue and she floats around. That sort of looks like the scene from the cartoon Atlantis when Kira is floating in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh my god, all my cartoon references, I just love them. She becomes alive. I gotta really give it, because if I were to become alive and see a hideous creature, first thing I'll do is either freeze dead or maybe I'll scream. But she's like asking the creature, what's happening? Why? And when he talks, when he says Kristine, it's me and everything, she freaks out. She freaks out and she tries to move away. So at that time, Strange Supreme, he knew. Now I can just say Strange. There's only one Strange, right? So Strange knew that he messed up. He tried to save the love of his life, but now she's so afraid of him. He went to the edge of the cliff, almost falling down. So he tried to grab her and all, and he sees that even she starts disappearing slowly. I mean, what was he expecting? The universe was collapsing and she was part of the universe as well. So immediately the universe just starts shrinking like that. Everything just collapsed, and he used all his might to hold it and try to build like a shield, like a glass shield around them. And then we see the first time, I think in MCU history, okay, not in MCU history, in What If, we see the Watcher physically and interacting with Doctor Strange. So, and he admits that what he did was wrong and it was his own ignorance, and he asked the Watcher for help. He says that, you are a god and everything. Then the Watcher says, I'm not a god and neither are you. So, you literally try to play God, and I cannot interfere, and he just ciao.
Yeah.
He just faded away. So, Strange at that time, I can really imagine. I guess it was a very, very sad scene because he did so much just to feel like that. And the universe completely collapsed. It just collapsed. Everyone dies. In the end, he's only managed to secure themselves in a small glass barrier. And even then also, Kristine is still being absorbed. She's still disappearing along with the universe. And the saddest thing that she asks is, Stephen, what did you do? And then she just... And with that music, with the piano music, with him, crying and saying, no, I'm so sorry. Even I felt like crying for him. I had goosebumps. I think they really did a good job with the way they ended that part. And then, of course, the Watcher says, one life, one choice, one moment can destroy the entire universe. So this wasn't a happy ending. He destroyed his entire universe just like that.
And it's also nice, like how they just cut straight to the to the credits. Yeah, like, they didn't give us anything after that. Like, y'all just stay sad after this and wait for the next one.
Yeah, it just fun, in all the scenes. But yeah, so basically that is the end of What If Doctor Strange didn't lost his heart instead of his hands.
Okay. I want to be the one who drops a hot take on the theory. Okay. Then y'all can come up with yours lah. Okay, what I think and believe, like okay, the first after we watch this, like all of us be questioning, like, okay, what's next? What's after this? Like how are they? Why they show us this, and how are they gonna play out after this, right? So from what we know that Carter will meet Supreme Strange, at one point, and we don't know what happens and how we can connect them. So we don't know. The only way we can connect them is through that tentacles, the beast. That's the only way. So my theory is that's not the only way they connect, because on episode 2, was it 2? Yeah, was it 2? Yeah, episode 2 or 3. Episode 3, we saw all the Avengers go DOA. All the Avengers died, right? And then in the trailer, we also see them going into zombies. So my theory is they will connect these 4 episodes together and somehow make it seem that Captain Carter needs Strange help to fend off this zombie Avengers because of one multiversal decision mistake. Like maybe what Strange did now affected other universes, and then they need to save it somehow. Like that's my theory lah. Okay, I don't think it's all going to be standalones. I think somehow like what Sean mentioned before, all this is going to merge to one big baddie at the end, and then all of them are going to fight it together. So I think it's like that lah. That's my take.
I mean, yeah, I can agree because there's we of course there can't be like no reason to actually show the Guardians the
Guardians of the Multiverse.
The Guardians of the Multiverse, teaming up together, and Captain Carter meeting Strange Supreme. So they're definitely going to work together. So I'm assuming maybe Strange Supreme, because he's still the only one left alive, so he would have found a way to come to a different multiverse. And with his regret of not saving his universe, he's going to help Captain Carter to save her universe, or maybe a multiverse where all of them are combined together. Yeah.
Or they fight together to fight off the tentacles, the mad tentacles.
Yeah, the tentacle monster.
Yeah, because technically the tentacles was cut in episode 1, and from episode 4 we can see that the tentacles are kind of like still alive, getting absorbed into Strange. So we could also say that it's still alive after Captain Carter got to.
Yeah, the theory for the tentacle is actually just two theories. It's either this happening another universe, as we all plan it out, another universe, or because this is happening way back, we don't know how long back, but because Captain Carter's that particular timeline, it happens about 1930s 40s, around there, but these particular things happened way before. That means the tentacle monster was still fine before Captain Carter slays it. No, it's either that two theories, either different universe or same universe but different time in the future.
And we can't say if it's the same tentacle creature also, because there's a ton of them. All of them are interdimensional beings. So it's like probably Captain Carter opens one doorway, one monster came. Stephen opened one doorway, another monster came. So it's hard to say if they're the same creature in the first place.
I only have one theory. It's not more like a theory, but I feel like somehow in the future episode, I feel like the Watcher will interfere. I don't know whether it's a theory or what, but I really want it to happen, because if it happens, it will become more like a chaos, even more. Chaos. But obviously, the team he wants, maybe he's the one who builds up the Guardians of the Multiverse. You never know. He asks him to pathway to go meet them, and then they become the Guardians of Multiverse. You never know. But it'll be super cool if the Watcher somehow interferes. Then will be more chaos, be more action, more storyline to build up to.
I will hop on to Harvin's train as well, because I agree with that because from episode 1 until episode 4 we can see how the Watcher becomes more influenced and more of a playing character rather than just a narrative. And based in the comics, he actually did once interfere and helped out. So Marvel could be going to that route. We never know. I think most likely it will happen, because I don't think the Watcher will just be a narration. I think it's more than that. Yeah. Narrator, yes. Thank you, Sean.
No, so for me, I feel that so going back to Doctor Strange and the Watcher, the relationship, right? When he calls the Watcher looking to him like a god, actually Doctor Strange himself is like a god, because he is the strongest sorcerer in the whole universe. So that's why he is called the Sorcerer Supreme. Because he is the ultimate sorcerer. So I think the Watcher's relationship with Strange in this particular episode is a little bit more closer than we see others, because they are more human rather than godlike or maybe something like that. So that's why that he can see beyond what normal people actually can see. So that is the relationship between him and the Watcher. In terms of the Watcher interfering, maybe not now. Maybe I think they might explore this down the road. because like if the Watcher is what they call interfering in this first season, then what could happen in season 2, right? So maybe this will be a bigger storyline down the future, definitely. But I'm still going towards that, Guardians of the Multiverse, where because we don't know where Doctor Strange is now, what universe, where is he? Is he the Void, whatever, right? So how all these characters are going to relate to one another. I think there's some correlation between the characters itself. Like, they chose one character for each episode. So what is their particular role coming towards the end?
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot to build up there.
Yeah.
And another thing I forgot to miss out when like Sean said, when Strange has a closer connection with the Watcher, he actually says that he read about the Watcher, so we know that the Watcher are not entirely invisible to the universe. I mean, they are invisible, but then there has been books about them, so it means there has been knowledge about them. So of course the Sorcerer Supreme, I think like they know basically about everything. So it means the Watcher has probably interfered maybe one point in time, or made themselves visible to certain characters to be known, and so that they can study about them. And like Eric mentioned, the Watcher is no stranger to interfering. Like for example, like in the comics, he interfered with the Fantastic Four, helped them to in a battle and everything. So yeah, we'll see more of the Watcher being very closely involved in all the next episodes of What If, probably in the next movies.
Yeah, please let us know what sort of geek theories you want from us, so we can delve deeper and get all crazy about it, and and give it to you guys.
Yeah, I think we can wrap it up here. It's a long breakdown. We gotta save our breath for the next one.
Yeah. So until the next episode, that is all from us. We are the Geek Street, and the street has spoken. Till then, see you guys. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Ciao, guys.